What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Prolific Podcast. I'm your boy Swaz. I'm sorry, you guys, that I have not been here the last week with the Seattle Seahawks going to the Super Bowl. I had to celebrate. I had to be there for my team. You know what I mean? So I couldn't be on the podcast, but I'm here now. I apologize. I promise it won't happen again. I just wanted to take a little break, and then my girl's like, "Hey, you need to get on your podcast." And people were telling me, "Hey, what's up with the podcast?" Sorry, I apologize, but I'm here. Promise you, I won't do it again. But we got to give it up, man. Shout out to the Seahawks. They put in that work. We're here now. I know a lot of you guys are Niner fans or whatever fans you are. But it's okay. Hang up your jersey. Next year will be your year. Nah, but I'm hoping we win. I'm hoping we get it back in blood for what happened last year, which we're not going to talk about. Not last year, a couple years ago, we're not going to talk about where Russell threw the interception at the 1 yard line. I don't know why they called that play, but it is what it is. Um, but I'm ripping hard for my squad, so hopefully we get that dub and we keep it going. Also, yesterday I watched the fight with my family. What happened, Teal? Shakur beat Teal and made it look phenomenal, man. He looked at his best, man. He did not run. He was there toe to toe. Like I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened there. So Teal, you got some explaining to do, man. What's up, man? Tell us what happened. You want this interview with us or what? Tag Teal in the comments and let's talk about it, man. But no, I love to Teal. I hope he comes back better, stronger, gets that rematch. If not, moves up in weight, becomes a better champion somewhere else. I'm really rooting for you, my boy, and hopefully you come out on top, man. One of my favorite fighters for sure out there. And also shout out to Gaethje, man. Gaethje in the UFC, man. Wow, he put a beating on Patty the Batty. I know you guys like Patty the Batty. I personally not a fan of Patty the Batty as far as a fighter, but it is what it is. I'm glad Gaethje got that dub. He deserved it. Got that belt. Now, hopefully, I wish all the best for him, and he could retire out a champion or whatever he has planned to go with next. But congrats to them. But going back to the Teal thing, that makes me want to talk about my next subject. Excuse me, talk about my next subject, and that's with Teal taking that L, man. When they interviewed him, he said, he was a better man that night. I'm gonna go back to the office, work on my crap, maybe move up weight, see what happens. He didn't blame it on nobody. He didn't say because of this. He didn't have an excuse. He just said, hey, he was a better man. He performed, and that was it. And he took his L as a man to the chin, and he made it into a lesson. And not yet, but I promise you, he'll make it into a lesson. He'll see where he didn't succeed, and he'll be a better fighter. So that brings me to the subject that I want to talk about. Taking losses in life, man, it's something that I feel like us men really go hard on ourselves on. And maybe you women too, but us men really go hard on ourselves on, and we really, really, are our own critics, our own worst critics. Because when we look in the mirror, the only dude that we see in competition should be yourself. And sometimes your mind, man, will tell you, "Hey, you're not good, man. You took that L. It's okay, bro. Like, try something else. Try something else." Or people will get in your head, "Hey, bro, don't do it. Like, you already tried. It didn't work out." But don't listen to them, man. Take your L as a lesson, make it into a lesson, learn from it, and keep going, man. Keep going for what you want. Don't let anybody try to stop you in your tracks, or just because that L, or even yourself. Don't let it stop you in your tracks. But that's all I wanted to say about that was, you know, make that L into a lesson. You know, be better, be a better you. Put it to the lab, make it work, man. Everybody has the potential to do something. You have the same 24 hours as everybody else in the world. You could do it. Don't go hard on yourself, man. Don't go hard on yourself. You know, and I remember when I was younger, man, I would take an L and I would go hard on myself, and I'd be like, man, I'm not the best. And I was just in life, or even like getting rejected. Like, man, am I ugly? Like, I would ask myself that question. No, and I'm pretty sure a lot of dudes have. So you guys can sit here and be like, nah, I never asked myself that. Everybody asks themselves that. But rejection. It could be rejection. It could be, you didn't get the job you wanted. It could be, you didn't get the car you wanted. It could be they rejected you to get that loan for the house. Whatever it may be, if you take that L to a lesson, you will get where you want to get. And I truly and I strongly believe that. Because I'm gonna tell you why. When I got my truck, man, I got a lot of people, like I said, hating on me. Until this day, maybe still do. I don't know. But man, that truck did not want to go, and I wanted to give up on it. Man, forget that truck, man. F that truck. That's an L, man. That's just an L in the parking lot in the driveway. It's just an L. Like, it's just something I don't want to deal with anymore. But I feel like that was a lesson from my dad from beyond the grave, from heaven. And it was a lesson of, look, this thing ain't gonna always come easy to you. Sometimes you're gonna have to work for it. Sometimes you're gonna have to fight for it. Sometimes you're gonna have to do blood, sweat, and tears, spend all your money on it. That's just the way it goes. because my dad was in the truck game or in the car scene game for a long time. So I never understood all, like, because I was young, I never understood how to, work on a car, or how to do this or how to do that, or the patience. I would just see the car ready to go. Okay, let's go, let's go. I'd be inside the house doing whatever I was doing. I don't know what I was doing at the time, but I was doing whatever I was doing when he was ready to go. Let's go, and I would go with him. So I never got to see the process of that, and I feel like that was a lesson for him to show me, hey, sometimes this truck ain't gonna turn on. Sometimes your car ain't gonna turn on. Sometimes your car ain't gonna be ready for the car shows, for the truck shows, for the burnout pits, whatever it may be. It just won't be ready, and you have to be patient with that. And it's not an L; it's a lesson. It's a lesson to be like, hey, you know what? Okay, what do I gotta do? What do I gotta learn to get this ready to go so it doesn't happen again? And I truly believe that in life as well. When you take an L of that job interview, okay, sit back. Why didn't I get it? Don't sit there and feel sorry for yourself, because I used to be like that. Like I said, I used to feel sorry for myself all the time, but you can't do that, man. Because no one's gonna come help you. There's times where you're gonna reach out to people and they can't come help you, and you gotta thug it out by yourself, man. You gotta learn how to be by yourself, and it's not because they hate you or because they don't want to see you do good. It's just, you know what? People got other lives going on, other things going on in their life that they can't always pick up the phone. And that's the thing, is that you have to learn how to fight with it on your own, and how to go through it on your own, and learn how to do it by yourself. Thank God that my stepdad was there to help me out. But if he wasn't there, I would have to thug it out, or I would have let my mind beat me, and I wouldn't be here where I'm at today, and the truck wouldn't be where it's at today. Like, and and you can't let it beat you. You can't let your mind trick you and say that's the biggest L. You're done. Don't do it no more. Don't fight no more. Just you got to keep going, man. Don't let your mind do that. Your mind will play tricks on you, man. Like when you're scared, like when you see something in the dark, you're like, what is that? Was that something that I see move by? And it's your mind playing tricks. Your mind will play tricks on you, but it's trying to tell you you're not worth it. You're not the one for it. You shouldn't do it, and all this stuff. Because even with this podcast, man, my mind was playing tricks on me, telling me, people are gonna hate on you, people are gonna talk crap, which they already are, which they already do, right? Which what's the difference between me doing this and somebody else hating on me? I'm doing something with my time, the way I see it. I'm not trying to talk back or feed into the negativity, but I'm doing something with my time. And you know what I mean? And some dudes are just gonna hate, and that's just the nature of it. Hey man, like Cat Williams says, let them hate. And if you got no one to hate, you can hate on me. Like just like he said. But you know, one thing I really like in me as a person is quotes, man. I love to listen to quotes, podcasts, YouTube videos, music that will inspire you to do more. And one person I really like the most when it comes to quotes is Mayweather. And a lot of people might not like Mayweather. He's arguably one of the best fighters. If you don't know who he is, I'll put him right here. Arguably one of the best fighters to ever do it. Some dudes might hate him. Some people might say he's cherry picking, but we're not talking about that. What we're talking about is the things that he said. He lost in the Olympics in the Olympics when he was coming up. And people say they cheated him. I don't know what the case may be. I don't know what happened or what, but they say they cheated him. So he once said, when I first got that first loss in the Olympics, because he never lost in the ring, undefeated. I told myself I never want to lose again. And what did he do? He never lost. And not saying that he looked good doing it, but he never lost. Now let's take it back outside the ring. Did he ever lose in life? Of course he lost in life. He even lost in boxing, but before he went professional. But he perfected his craft. He made it in his mindset, and he engraved it in his head. I'll never lose again, and he did it that way. And so maybe he did lose outside the ring, but he didn't take it as a L. He took it as a lesson, and that's what we gotta be. Not all of us can be the Mayweathers, and I'm not talking about strictly just boxing. I'm talking about taking it and embracing it, and be like, okay, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong for me to take this L? Let's turn it into a lesson. Let's not even call them L's anymore. Let's call them lessons. What did I do to take this lesson? You know what? Okay, this, and this, and this. Okay. Because sometimes a lesson is a blessing in disguise. And I know you guys have heard that maybe plenty of times, but it's the truth, man. It's the truth. At the time, it doesn't feel that way. But trust me, at the end of the day, you're gonna laugh at it and be like, damn, why was I tripping on it then? I already got it now. So it's just the way it is. Maybe you weren't ready. Maybe you needed more time. Maybe you needed to work on it a little more. Maybe you got it at a better place in your time, or whatever the case may be. Maybe you didn't get the house then, but you got a better house now. Like, it's just lessons that we got to take on in life as something that can make us better, man. And I'm hoping that you guys are understanding what I'm trying to say on this podcast. I kind of feel like I'm going off base and coming back, but I'm just trying to help you guys understand what I'm trying to talk about here. You know, there's another one too that he says that goes, he goes, one day I was coming out the boxing gym and I saw this guy coming in. I'm not sure who the boxer was, but he saw this guy coming at the gym and he had the Rolex. He had the diamond chain. He had the Ferrari, and he's like, man, I want that. I want that. He didn't want to be the guy. I want that. And he engraved it. And look at him, bro. That guy's driving Bugattis and all this stuff. And he did it, right? And it's not because he blamed everybody else or because he's like, oh, this person wasn't there for me when I needed. No, it was because he was like, you know what? I'm my own person. I'm the only one that's gonna go out there and grab it and do it and get it done. And that's just how it is, man. And you know what? Before I used to be like, man, why isn't this person picking up the phone? Why isn't this person having my back? Why isn't this person, feeling sorry for me or being like, damn, maybe I should. No, man. I grew out of that and was like, you know what? People got their own wars going on, and I got mine, and I got to learn how to master it in order to help anybody else or in order to move on with my life. And that's just how it is, man. And that's how I've been. That's how I've been doing and have been taking my L's and making them lessons. Like I said, no more L's, lessons. But your biggest critic is going to be you, man. And that's going to be your biggest enemy is the reflection in the mirror. That's your biggest enemy. And I'm not saying that, hate yourself or nothing like that. I'm saying like that's your biggest enemy as far as like your mindset, man. Because I had mental battles with myself. I would go hard on myself, man. I'd freaking hate myself. I'd be like, man, I'm dumb, I'm stupid, this and that. Like I can't figure it out or whatever it was that I wanted to go get. I'd go hard on myself because it didn't go my way. Or I'd be so mad, I'd rage and all this stuff, and I just didn't understand the patience of it and all and how to make it into a lesson. Because you really gotta dissect it. You can't just be like, oh, that's my lesson. Okay, let's go. No, you really gotta sit there and be like, why didn't I get there? You know? And sometimes your mind will be, oh, like, oh, like you're dumb, like don't do it, you're right, you feed into your mind. And maybe I'm the only one that talks to myself. I don't know. I'm talking to myself, I feel like right now, well to you guys, but until you see it. But that's just one thing is don't let it be your enemy. Don't let it control you. Master your mind, master your thoughts, and I promise you you'll get where you want to get 100% for sure. You got to roll with the punches, man. And mistakes are made to happen in life. Mistakes are made to happen. Lessons are meant to happen, and that's the way we roll. And that's the way that us as humans, as people, can become better us. You get what I'm saying? You could be, you could be, you know what? You could be. Look at Till. You could be number one. Pound for pound, king, sitting at the top. Canelo, for example, top king. You take an L, man, and you take the L, make it to a lesson, and you come back better and stronger. That's just the way life is. You know, um, you can't let people get into your head either, man. Don't let people they hate or anybody get into your head, or anything like that. But that brings me up to my next segment. Watch this. It's called Peep Game. So, oh dang. So Peep Game. Kind of hot in here. I feel like Peep Game. When I was younger, man, my airbag popped on my truck, and that thing slammed, bro. Like it didn't want to move. Like I was like, dang. I took it to the shop where my dad took it back in the day. I think it's still around now, but different owners. I'm not gonna say the name. Took it and they fixed the bag, whatever. They're like, hey, it's gonna be this much. Well, I took it thinking, okay, like I could make some money here and there. Like I'll see what I can do. I don't think I was working at the time. I want to say I wasn't, but I might have been. I don't remember. But I didn't have money to pay for it, and I was like, dang. And they're like, well, we can't let you take the truck. And I said, well, what if I give you guys payments? They're like, we still can't let you take the truck. Like if you want to give us payments, that's fine, but we're gonna keep the truck here. Just to make sure I pay. And I was like, dang, and that was embarrassing for me, but that was an L for me, man. That was an L because I feel like I lost trust as the mechanic as to the shop. As like, man, this kid brought us a car and he can't even pay for it. Like or like people are like, damn, that's Jaime's son. My dad's name's Jaime. That's Jaime's son and he couldn't pay for it. And I was like, dang, and I didn't want to go ask for people. Like I said in my last podcast, I was too what's that word I'm looking for? I was too prideful. So I was like, man, I'm really gonna take this L. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this L. What can I do? My uncle said, how much is it? We went, he paid, and he said, all right, my uncle Centenario, Ramon. He said, from now on, you're gonna cut my grass to pay off your debt. That's fine. I got my truck back. I didn't care. Cutting his grass, and he's like, it's not that bad. He's like, my grass ain't that bad. I've been to his house, but dude, that shit was like this, like hills. Like, sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. It was that bad, and I was like, dang, man, like, come on, bro, like. But I was like, you know what? That's a deal. I made a deal, and I gotta live up to it, right? I went, I cut the grass, I was pushing it, and he swears to this day that it was like the pushing lawnmowers, like with the you push it and the wheels turn. Yeah, bro, it was not like that. And he had it really low to the lowest setting, so that thing would get stuck on everything, and I hated it. But he's like, no, I want to cut that low, blah blah blah, whatever. So, I'm cutting the grass, whatever, and I'm like, hey, how much do I owe you? After a couple months, and or after a couple weeks, and he goes, oh, you owe me like $5. I'm like, what? No, 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 sorry. He's like, I'm taking off some money, so you owe me this much. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, I'm only taking off $5. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. And he goes, yeah, that's what I'm taking off. And I go, what? Like that's you only taking off $5? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, dang, you know. And in my head, I'm like, that's another L, bro. That's another L I'm taking. Like, dang, dude. Like, I'm never gonna finish paying this guy off. So what did I do? I dissected and said, okay, my problem is this: can't pay for my truck. He paid for it. Now I can't pay him, but I have to work for it. You know what? I'm gonna go get a job. When I got a job, gave him his money and said, hey, I don't owe you nothing no more. He goes, no, man, you keep the money, keep cutting my grass. I said, nope, I'm not cutting it no more. Because at the time, cutting grass was what, like 10, $15? Now they're like 50, 60, like ridiculous amount of money. I mean, don't get me wrong. You guys landscapers, you guys do it for a living. Kudos to you, bro. You guys can do it, get it done. Me, not for $10 and not for five exactly. So now it's like 50, $60, I believe. But you know, that was an L I took. And I was like, dang, you know, how can I become better at that than how can I become better at the situation I put myself in? And that was go get a job, which is like it's not a big thing because I don't want to put too much personal things out there, but it's not a big thing that you know was a big L, but to me it was, you know, that was another lesson that I took in life. You know what I mean? To always have money in your pocket, I guess, in a way, or do something to have that money in your pocket. But you know, I've had people come up to me and tell me, man, you know, this is the biggest, and I can give advice all day long. Sometimes, excuse me, I won't even follow my own advice because I'm so hard on myself. But that's one thing I got to work on myself. So I'm not perfect by any means. I'm still taking L's to this day, but I'm not taking them as hard as I used to take them when I was younger or when I was a little bit before, you know? Because one thing my mom and my girl has been telling me is like, why get mad if it already happened? Why get mad over spilt milk? Why get mad over that? It's an L. Ya perdiste. Now learn from it. You know, you lost. Now learn from it. So and that's the way it goes. You know, you can't get mad. You can't get upset. I mean, you can, but it's not gonna get you nowhere. Why am I gonna get mad over this or over that? You know, when I can't, when I can, you know, I'm the only person that's gonna fix it is me. And that's why I say like, don't. It's not. I'm not saying don't depend on anybody, but don't depend on anybody if you're not gonna help yourself, man. Don't get mad at nobody for somebody that's not. Don't get mad at somebody that can't be there for you at the time of the moment because man, they got battles they're facing too, man. And that's just the way it is. That's life. So the best thing I could tell you guys is, you know, turn that L into a lesson and keep going with it. Just keep going with it, man. Just keep going with it and keep going for it. I promise you, you're gonna get it. I promise you, you're gonna get it. But enough said about that. You know, please, guys, like, share, comment, subscribe. You know, my sister got me wake up call. I prefer roasters, but it's not around anymore. Whew. Sugar free, baby, sugar free. Gotta go sugar free. Talking about sugar free, switch gears a little bit. You know, my next one's gonna be about goals. So, you know, I want to talk about my goals. I've been trying to hit the gym a little bit better, and I've been trying to, you know, eat a little bit better. That thing's hard though, man, because sometimes I want to get some wings, man. Sometimes I just want to get some wings. Why can't I guys go get wings? You know, I see guys that are Mexican that have like, you know, that are rocking sick bods and stuff, and I'm like, I know motherfucker. Sorry, I know the guy eats tacos. I know he eats tacos. How is he still walking around like that? But you know, we're trying to lose some weight. At work, they want to do a weight challenge, but I didn't do so good. So I went at the end of the last time we did, I didn't do so good. So when they wanted to weigh in at the end, I said, you know what, I already know I lost because I wasn't even doing nothing, bro. I wasn't going to the gym. I wasn't eating better. That was another L I lost. I think it was like $100. I don't even remember, but I lost, man. I was mad. I was mad at myself. I was mad that I lost $100, but it was on me. It was on me. I didn't do anything to work on it. Now they want to run it back. I'm gonna go get it back in blood for sure, for sure. But thank you guys for tuning in. Thank all of you guys that are liking and sharing and commenting and asking where I've been at. I appreciate that. But please like, comment, share, subscribe. Please, 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 please comment what you guys want to talk about. I'd really appreciate it. And for all the haters that have been hating, please keep on hating on me. Please, please. This podcast really needs it. So please share it. Talk crap if you want. I don't care. You already know. But it's on YouTube. So go to YouTube. Obviously, people watching this already know it's on YouTube. But on YouTube, please, please, please go like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you guys. See you guys in the next one. Oh, yeah. And go Hawks.